After the Korean War, the Soviet Union was the main trading partner and sponsor of North Korea. 93 North Korean factories were built with Russian technical assistance, piloting the country's heavy industrialization. Soviet aid to North Korea then expanded from 1965 to 1968, especially as Sino-North Korean relations soared during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. Russia made sure that North Korea did not find a way to fall far too behind industrially. At the peak of the relationship in 1988, 60% of North Korea's trade was with the Soviets. Much of the trade was in raw materials and petroleum that Moscow provided to Pyeongchang at very generously low prices. Famine struck North Korea in the mid-1990s, and Russia delivered humanitarian aid to North Korea twice in 1997, once with food and medicine worth $67 million in the fall, and 370 tons of sugar, canned meat, and fish and milk worth $52 million in December of that year. In 2008, Russia delivered oil and food to North Korea in accordance with its obligations outlined at the six-party talks, while the other nations involved were more focused on placing sanctions on North Korea. In August 2011, ahead of Kim Jong-il's visit to Russia, the Kremlin, who was the prime minister, said that it was providing food assistance, including 50,000 tons of wheat. And again, on February 2012, it was reported that they will not rule out the possibility of sending humanitarian aid to the North Koreans. However, during all of this, North Korea has been scamming the Russians this whole time, and the small power of North Korea continues to show signs of an unwillingness to cooperate. They are consistently breaking the terms of the agreements by testing destructive missiles and breaking the terms of the agreements that they made with the Russians, while the Russians continue to do their share. This is Russia's involvement in North Korea.
Russia's main purpose in their involvement is to gain profit. They want to make enough profit to develop more of their east side. North Korea has nearly broken almost all of its commitments it has made to Russia and the U.S. and many of their allies. North Korea recently launched a missile across Japan without any warning or permission. It is safe to presume they are attempting to put on a display of dominance. Russia is still able to maintain an equal relationship with North and South Korea and does most of its work behind the scenes. This is because their main goal, again, is to gain profit. They are more interested in their own economic benefit, trying to keep open economic opportunities for itself in order to develop Russia's Far East, which explains why they haven't been so active when it comes to cracking down on Pyongyang economically.
During one of the UN meetings, President Trump said Russia violated the sanctions in order to aid North Korea. Russia watered down the sanctions to help North Korean workers in order to stop the flow of money back to the DPRK. Russia has been using North Korean missile tests as a distraction to the rest of the world, so then he can test out chemical weapons behind the scenes. He's been doing a lot more, including trying to act as the main middleman, while he plays out North Korea as the big bad man of the world. He uses all that precious time to test out not just chemical weapons, but new firearms, new missiles, and then he tries to get other countries to bend to their will, like South Korea. He told South Korea to lower its defense relations with America for reasons regarding the threat towards Russia.
They're two of America's biggest antagonists, and tonight there's new concern over Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin teaming up, creating an ominous alliance against the United States. The Russians say they're negotiating with North Korea to hold joint military exercises.
There's nothing good about a growing relationship between Moscow and Pyongyang. Things could escalate.
Putin's also invited Kim Jong-un to Moscow in May to celebrate the anniversary of the end of World War II. Russian officials are quoted as saying North Korea's leadership has accepted, but it's not clear if Kim Jong-un himself will go. And if he does, there's danger.
Kim Jong-un has a plane, but he doesn't fly anywhere. I think this is a man who is frightened from leaving the safety of his security network inside North Korea. And there is, of course, a danger that he may not be invited back because there could be generals who decide, you know what, this is a convenient time to make that adjustment we've been talking about privately.
Russia and North Korea had strong bonds against the U.S. during the Cold War and afterward when Kim's father visited Putin in Moscow. The partnership eventually faded. What's in the rekindling of this friendship for Kim? Essentially, he needs a new friend. China, North Korea's most steady ally, is angry with Kim over his nuclear program and over the execution of his uncle, Jang Song-taek, who was close with China's leaders. What's in this for Putin?
I think number one, I think to some degree it is sticking it in the eye of the United States. Putin and the Russians have been talking to the North Koreans and the South Koreans, hoping to get them together on gas pipeline deals that would take Russian gas out to the Pacific, as well as a railroad.
And how would this new axis of antagonism threaten the U.S.?
Russia has lots of intelligence. They've got Snowden, for goodness sakes, in Moscow. They have a lot of intelligence about the United States. This gives Kim Jong-un potentially the ability to miscalculate in a very big way, thinking he knows what's really going on or what vulnerabilities are that may not really exist inside the United States and the U.S.-South Korean alliance.
Russia's overall role in this situation is a bit unusual and more than a little complicated. Despite their role in essentially creating North Korea, they don't exactly have the best relationship with each other. While Russia has had a history of using North Korea for economic gain, such as recent allegations as of last year regarding selling North Korean coal, usually they try and keep themselves relatively neutral, at least outwardly, so that they don't appear to be going one way or the other. They seem to be actually coming around to seeing North Korea's danger, but their ideal solution is shaping the entire situation for their benefit and boost their relevance back to the quote-unquote glory days. And essentially they see North Korea as a means to an end for that, and a potential ally, yet an unstable one as well. Russia, in order to actually affect the situation in a positive manner, has to get off of its proverbial high horse and really crack down on North Korea like the others, and decide to either leave the situation alone completely or step in and propose some actual helpful things that doesn't just benefit them alone.